to another great episode of our docu-series where we take you behind the scenes to look at how artists are functioning post and during the COVID-19 pandemic. In this interview, I'm so excited, guys, to share this one with you. This is with my dear friend, Michael Kushner, who I've known since my days at Frenchwoods, which was a performing arts camp that we both attended that shaped who we are as people and who we are as artists. So we take you all the way back to our camp days, and then we take you all the way to the present moment with how Michael is being his truly vibrant and inspiring artist self and being a multi-hyphenate, which we will get into in this next episode. But before we do, let's hit you with our New York City fun fact of the day. And that one is, drumroll please, that there are over 250 feature films shot in New York City each year. Crazy. And I guess a lot can happen in a New York minute, as they say. Now, without further ado, join us for this incredible conversation with this inspiring artist and human, Michael Kushner, and myself on Still New York. Hi, Mikey.
Hi, Jana Bernard. How are you?
Oh, Michael Kushner, I am so happy to see you. Genuinely, you are such a light in my life. And I'm so excited that I could do this interview with you today because you are genuinely one of the sweetest people I know and most inspirational. So,
oh my gosh. Well, the same goes right to you. I remember the first time I met you, you were just like this, force. I mean, it's so incredible. And it really lasts with you no matter what age you are, that when someone knows themselves, it really sticks with you. And I remember you just being a little young thing and just you having this confidence, and no matter where you were, didn't matter what age group you were, everyone got the same Jana Bernard. And that's my favorite thing about you is your absolute confidence. It's amazing.
Michael Kushner, I just love you. I'm so happy you're joining us today.
Me too.
You radiate love and positivity. And I think just you inspire so many people. I know you've inspired me. I know you inspire so many young artists, and you're just the most fun to be around. So at the risk of complimenting you for this whole interview, I'm going to start with question number one.
Great. We could just go for it the whole time. Just a big love letter.
Guys, we just need to grab some shampoo and conditioner because we're just going to have a compliment shower this whole interview.
I thought you were going to say champagne, and I was like, that, please.
Oh, I mean, hey. But I think my first question for you is, so let's start with how we know each other. We know each other, sure. The origin story, like all superheroes, we must start with your origin story. So we know each other from Frenchwoods Festival, the performing arts.
Yeah.
And my question for you is, and for those of you who don't know, Frenchwoods is a camp in upstate New York. That's a performing arts camp. And we both went there. So how did that camp influence and inspire you to become the person and artist you are today?
Yeah, undoubtedly, Frenchwoods is a massive shaper of who I am today. There's not one day where I don't think about the impact Frenchwoods had on my life. I went to Frenchwoods when I was 15, and I turned 16 that summer. In 2007, that was my first summer there. I didn't realize how much I needed a space to be myself. But I also didn't know going there that was going to happen. I was going to high school, and it's very structured, very conservative. It was a very conservative private school. And if you went to that private school, you were good at something. You were there for something. So either fine arts, sports, academics, you went to the top schools in your field, and that's what happened. when you
Got
graduated. And I was on full scholarship there, and I was very lucky, but it was so structured, little breathing room, and I learned so much, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, I'd change things, but I wouldn't change the experience, because I learned, what grinds my gears and what gets me really excited. But like, in chorus, we got to perform in Disney once a year for the Disney Candlelight Processional. But a test grade was them checking the attire that Disney enforced on us. And that was a white button down, black pants, black shoes, black socks, a belt. And we had to bring in that outfit, which would be a test grade that would be approved. And if it wasn't approved, we couldn't board the bus to Disney. And just things like that, very structured, very this. Then all of a sudden I'm put on a plane because my dad won a very discounted free session at Frenchwoods, because Ron, the owner of Frenchwoods, and my dad went to the same temple. And
Wow.
there was a raffle, and my dad won. And I did not want to go. I literally boarded that plane kicking and screaming, basically.
Oh, this is such a crazy story. Okay, continue.
Did not want
to my seat.
Didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Got up. I mean, like, I was on the plane, and I remember just being like, who are these kids? What's happening? Now I have a 4-hour bus ride with them. Jeez Louise. Okay. I got off the bus. It was hot. There were bees. All of a sudden I'm sleeping in like this like matchbox of a room with this mattress. I was like, where am I? And then a storm hit. And well, before that, I was literally writing a letter to my parents, like, see you in 2.5 weeks. I'll be home in 2.5 weeks. And then a storm hit, and the weather changed. It got really cool. And I woke up and it was Frenchwoods. It was really weird. It was like all of a sudden everything made sense. And I started to find my people and start to be encouraged to be disgusting and messy, and with Stu Fingerette as my director, to be balls, balls to the walls, like, make choices, be and unapologetically, so that everyone around me sort of went, this kid knows himself. And that's what I loved about Frenchwoods, is that when you knew yourself, when you just like sort of committed to the weirdness of this situation, that we were these teens putting together shows, playing these roles that we should never play, will never play again. When you commit to that idea, there's this freedom. There's this freedom of going, okay, so you're playing this 70-year-old man, but I get to see you. I see your interpretation of this, which in turn is like the most honest acting that you can see a teenager do. But it was that the whole time. And I didn't want to go home. And Ron calls me to his office. I was like, call your father, you're not going home. And I stayed for a second session. And then the next summer I stayed for all 12 weeks, all 4 sessions.
It's so great. And also I think, and this leads into my next question for you, so this is perfect. I think what Frenchwoods did for both of us and for many, many other people is that it not only prepared us to be on stage, but to be on multiple different stages, because we were doing, like you said, plays and musicals or circus shows. And I know we also had cab troupe and improv troupe. We had a cabaret troupe there. And like I did the improv troupe. And so it was also filling our tool bag with these different artist tools. So my question for you is, you have a podcast called Dear Multi-Hyphenate. Can you explain what it means to be a multi-hyphenate?
Yeah, a multi-hyphenate is an artist who has multiple proficiencies that cross-pollinate to help flourish professional capabilities. And that's basically layman's term for I do a lot of shit. And
Love that.
Excuse me for cursing, but it's wouldn't be my brand if I didn't throw when I start cursing in Yiddish, that's when I've arrived. So I was tired of people. When I got to the city, I took up photography mainly because I was like, how else am I going to be able to create and communicate stories when I'm waiting for the next gig, when I'm waiting for the next show? And photography was one of them. And it came later in my life. Like a lot of Frenchwoods people are like, so you're a photographer now? And I was like, I always liked photography. I just never did it until a certain time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did video at Frenchwoods. Like I did video when I could, and I loved it. I loved getting to know the editing software. I loved getting to know, different camera angles. Like I ate it up and I loved it. And even I remember a memory, like in high school, Elena Garcia, who is one of my biggest inspirations and a friend to this day, she was my high school acting teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She had us write, direct, perform, produce our classes' one-person shows. So I would write mine, but I would direct Emily Katz's, who would direct Nicole Sandler's, and Nicole designed mine while Ariel teched mine. And you know what I mean? So everyone had a job of working as a different proficiency on another student's one-person show. And I remember when I got to Frenchwoods, I was like, I want to put my one-person show on camera. I want to turn it into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did it up until I couldn't anymore, just because of like Tech Week and stuff like that. But somewhere in the ether, there is footage of me doing my one-man show, like sitting outside of B12B. And
you know what, Mikey? We actually have that show here with us today. No, I'm just kidding. If I was like Jimmy Fallon and I just had the baby pictures ready, like just had the video ready to bring on, like
my stomach actually sunk because I was like, I've been meaning to like reach out to Ryan Airy and be like, would you know where that footage from 2007 could be?
And I just pull it out of my pocket, like right now on screen. Like,
well, I remember the opening line of it because it was about rumors and how I was so berated by rumors my sophomore year of high school. And it was about rumors. And the opening line, and still literally 2 or 3 nights ago, a friend of mine from high school texted me the opening line of the play. And it was me being Yiddish as hell and just being like, I am a rumor. I rhyme with tumor. And like, just like talking about how cancerous they are. And that was the opening line. And I remember like having Adrian Ruse be my focal point, my scene partner. And I think that we shot him like over his shoulder and me talking to him. And, but Frenchwoods like gave me the space to be able to come up with that concept and go, okay, yes. And
yeah.
So the podcast, I got to do those things at Frenchwoods that were the multiple proficiencies, the performance. I was a director. I even hosted stuff like, how many times I know you too, but how many times would a person at Frenchwoods go, Jana, Michael, we need a host for tonight.
Right, for the game show nights or whatever would happen.
For the game show night.
Mm-hmm. Or so we stick another in our box. Mm-hmm.
Right, because we knew how to crowd work. We knew how to work the crowds.
Yeah.
We knew how to warm them up. We knew how to joke. We knew how to do crowd work. We knew how to point someone out and be like, yeah.
Absolutely. So it's incredible to me how much you've been able to accomplish and how much you've been able to flourish in these different roles. And seeing your photography is so beautiful. And we were just talking about, this idea of being a multi-hyphenate and being able to have these different tools in your box. And we were just talking about how you are such a phenomenal photographer and you capture these movements. Can you tell us more about specifically the dressing room project?
Yeah. Can I tell you honestly?
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's, I think, why it's good, because I just picked up a camera and I put on my actor, producer, just theater artist brain and was like, look for the moments. Treat this like it's a scene partner. Treat it like you're scoring a script or you're learning a song.
Yeah.
Like, where's the breath? Where's the moment? Where's the this?
Yeah.
And of course, I had to figure out like f-stop and like aperture and stuff like that just to make sure that the photo looked good. But
Right.
I think what you're complimenting me on, which is incredibly kind, is very hard to learn. But I know it because of my background in the theater and what is the dramatic structure of a moment? What is the breadth of a moment? What is the rising action, the denouement, the climax? You know, what is it, and how do you photograph that? So thank you for saying that. That means the world. But the dressing room project came because I had massive senioritis my senior year of college.
Mhm.
I was partying a lot, but it was mainly because we were learning about Ethel Merman and I knew about Ethel Merman. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I literally would be like, yeah, I know about the curse jar. I know about the curse jar backstage at Gypsy. You know what I mean? And we were getting tested in that. So I basically was like,
Right.
I'm over it. And
Right.
I was submitting to like regional theaters so I can go from graduating to, booking a show
Right.
and not
Right.
really paying attention when I just had massive senioritis. And so one of my professors, Mary Casaro, was like, you have to prepare better. What you're doing now is not going to fly, because I was supposed to get a lead in the show I was cast in, and I knew I was going to get the role that I did, and I knew I was going to get the role that I did, so I planned for that accordingly. I went in the audition for that, I booked it, nailed it, but I wanted to make sure that I did everything correctly. So I went into her office and I was like, can I have feedback? And she was like, close the door. And I was like, okay. She was like, you were supposed to be the lead. You were supposed to be that character. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, that was for you. And I was like, no, it wasn't. We all know that. No. And she was like, and because you didn't prepare for it. You came in, we asked you to sing that song and it wasn't good. And I was like, what? And so my mind was kind of blown. And she's like, you need to learn how to prepare better. So when I got to the city, my friend was in Disaster on Broadway. And I was like, can I document how you prepare for a show? And he
Wow.
was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah. So I snuck in illegally with him into the stage door, was with him backstage with no permission. No, I didn't work with anyone on doing it. And then when someone found out I had done it, and they were like, this is cool, but you need to go through the right avenues. So now, of course, I go through press reps and producers and all that good stuff, and I get
Right.
clearance and everything's, legit. But that first shoot was not very legal. But I got really cool pictures, and I thought it was really cool because I wasn't the only one learning something out of it. A lot of people were when I put it on social media. And so it became a window. There are a lot of people that, and I love BroadwayCon, I love fans, I love it. But as someone that does panels at BroadwayCon and has a booth at BroadwayCon for the Dressing Room Project, like, I meet a lot of fans that feel like they own Broadway because of fandom and because of internet accessibility and because of the ticket price. So they feel like they, if Laura Benanti doesn't come out of the stage door, they're going to tweet about it and take her down. And the Dressing Room Project is meant to sort of calm that down, because if I can bring you backstage with me, if we can do this together, if you could see what it's really like, because I shoot in real time, nothing's staged. If you could see what it's really like, maybe that'll soothe that'll relieve your knickers that are in a twist or whatever.
No, that's incredible. And I really encourage our audience, if you haven't seen his work, check out Michael's Instagram, his website, Google it. Google is your friend. I remember seeing your picture of Brittany Johnson as Glinda backstage, and my eyes just twinkled. First of all, what an iconic moment that you were able to capture. And also, I think for anybody who's ever wanted to be, and I know we both share a passion for this show, deep passion. You share a passion for a different role than I do, but nonetheless, both very important roles in that show. But I saw this picture of her as Glinda, and I just was like, wow, she is just incredible. And I saw her performance, and I was just blown away. And your picture humanized such a almost godly performance for me, if that makes sense. No hyperbole involved. Her performance felt godly, and then your picture made it feel like, oh, I also push my chair in my dressing rooms in a regional theater. You know what I mean? So it made it feel like, oh,
I can't believe you said that.
This is something that feels so real and tangible, and it's a character that you've seen in this iconic come by bubble way. But in your picture, she was just pushing in her chair, and it felt so human.
I can't believe you got that, because that's actually hysterical. I've never heard anyone explain that picture to me before like that, because that's how I explain the picture.
Really?
And
that's crazy. I thought that maybe that I don't want you I don't want it to come off like the picture is by no means average. It's just so everyday actory. You push your chair in before you go on stage.
And you have your rituals.
Yeah, and it made it feel so relatable.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. What I love is that she didn't need to push in her chair. It was kind of already pushed in, but in that moment, she grounded herself. She went sort of like what I did before Druid, where I was like, when you go on stage, this is it. It's a 2.5, 3 hour long marathon, and you're gonna, I definitely was not making history in Druid, but I'm saying you're gonna go make history now. And the shoot was amazing. She was so calm, happy. There was only 1 minute where she had me leave the dressing room. I was like, you tell me when you want me to leave. I'll go out in the hallway. She goes, I'll let you know. And then there was one moment where she's like, give me 1 second. And I was like, great. And I was with her until she was clipped in the bubble. And I ran, and I had a ticket, because the cool thing about Dressing Room Project is that I get to have press seats for it. So I get to see the show
so
for free, and really great seats. And so I was there, and it was her performance was incredible. And when she comes down the bubble and she says, it's good to see me, isn't it? I mean, the whole audience was insane. So I actually brought with me a converter that took my disc, my memory card, and put it in my phone. I could just access them from my camera.
Yeah.
And I saw that picture, edited it at intermission, on my phone, sent it off to the press rep, got approval. Right when I sent it off at intermission, turned off my phone for Act 2, turned it on for at the end of the show, saw that I had approval, posted it, and then my phone died right there. And I had no idea what was happening on my phone until I got home, when it was already 1,000 retweets. And I had to sleep with my phone on airplane mode for 3 nights. It was wild.
That's wicked.
It was wild. It was literally wicked.
It was literally wicked.
Yeah, it was an incredible moment. But I love that you said that, because and that's the point of the picture, is that this should have happened. A Black actress playing Glinda should have happened years ago. It should be that mundane of a photo. Like there should be 100 other actresses of other races that play that role, that have that get a moment of them pushing in a chair.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it was just such a perfect picture. We talked about the bubble. We talked about the photographs. We talked about being a multi-hyphenate. Let's talk about the harder stuff now. Let's talk about COVID. And
I thought you were going to say something funny.
Oh, I mean, I can. Like,
no. I thought you were like I thought you were gonna be like, let's talk about your puppy. And I was like,
oh my God, I was literally about to say, let's talk about something really difficult. Being a dog dad. No.
Yeah.
We should talk about being a dog dad because your puppy is adorable. Doggable.
Did you hear that?
But of course, we've all been affected by the pandemic. Of course,
yeah.
All of us as Americans, all of us as humans, all of us as artists. I know that it has affected you as well personally, as well as professionally. So let's first say how it's affected you professionally. And then if you don't mind, would you mind telling us how it's affected you personally with your health journey?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's so weird to have a health journey, mainly because like I'm very private when it comes to health matters. And like, I'm not a big fan of seeing people posting like hospital selfies on Facebook or Instagram. I'm always like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. People heal and relieve stress in different ways. And if they want to post a selfie on Facebook about, and get everyone scared or, whatever, then that's their journey. Cause I think that's what it ultimately does. Like a hospital, like a vague hospital selfie being like here for the night, that gets everyone scared and nervous. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and it probably comes from, I think, those selfies that they're scared and they're probably nervous. And I think what social media has done for us during this pandemic is it's connected us in a way. And I think a lot of people feel really alone. And I think a lot of people reading about your journey being a long hauler with COVID has made them feel like, oh, wow. Because I saw your post about that. And I know a lot of people who have had COVID who have had long hauler symptoms. And I'm sure that made a lot of people feel like, oh, wow, I've been having some of these symptoms too. Or I'm sure it made a lot of people think, maybe these random symptoms I've been having could be a effect of having contracted COVID and maybe it got them tested. So yeah, I think it was great that you posted about that.
So thank you. So basically what happened was in March of last year, I got sick and I had COVID and I didn't know because there were no tests yet and it still hadn't officially hit us. And we didn't really know about it yet, but I got sick and I lost my smell and taste and I had the first thing was a migraine and I just didn't really know what was sort of happening because I always get sick around March anyway. I usually have a flu or a something.
Right.
And I didn't have a cough. That's what it was. That's why I was like, I don't think this is COVID because they're telling us to look out for a cough. I didn't have a cough. And on the day that the Forbes article came out saying that loss of smell and taste might be a side effect, I lost my smell and taste. And the sickness wasn't terrible. I've been sicker. I did go to the hospital mainly out of precaution because they hadn't been don't come here yet.
Right.
So I sort of was like, I'm going to go to the hospital. I'm not feeling well. I'm having these weird symptoms. I'm going to go. Maybe they'll know something.
Yeah.
No idea. The doctor literally was like, we're all going to get it. Okay. So just go home, chill out. And if you can't breathe, come back. And I was like, okay. So. Yeah.
So I went home. Stage left. Come back if you literally drop dead on stage, then come back to me.
She was like, don't be here.
Okay.
They were prepared. They were preparing, which was insane and spooky,
Yeah.
And then I got better. And about a month later, my friend who was in my bubble at the time was like, let's do an at-home workout. And I was like, okay, I guess it's been a month since I've done any activity. So
yeah,
I was in the gym 3 times a week with a personal trainer. Like, I know how to exercise. When I tell you, about 3 minutes into this like rinky-dink at-home workout, when I tell you I felt like I was going to die, is an understatement. I got beet red, nauseous, weak. I thought I was going to vomit. I thought I was going to pass out. And I was like, that's not good. And that was when I started to pay attention to, oh, I'm out of breath when I get up from the couch or walk up a flight of stairs, or why is my body hurting randomly? Why am I forgetting words? Why am I doing that? Why is this? Why is that?
Yeah.
And it was like, and it got progressively worse. And it was the worst probably around the fall when I started to notice things, end of summer, when I started to notice things like bleeding in areas I shouldn't be bleeding.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, just like brain fog, completely forgetting what I was talking about, absolute exhaustion where I couldn't get up from the couch for 3 days, even when I had shoots. It was like peeling me off from the couch. Sleepless nights, absolute exhaustion, and I had to ice my body at around 6 p.m. every night.
Okay, so how did that affect you professionally? Did you still continue to shoot? Did you have to like slice back on the number of shoots you were doing? Were you drained for your clients, or did you turn it on like a performer?
Yeah, I ultimately did. That's a great question. I ultimately did pare it back. Before the pandemic, I was doing 2 to 3 shoots a day in my studio.
Yeah.
And now I only do 1. And I think ultimately I'm looking at the positives of being sick and being a long hauler. Like, I'm turning 30. I'm allowed to do 1 shoot a day now.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that hustle anymore. I'm an established photographer. People come to me from far and wide to shoot with me. And I'm not saying that as like a blowing smoke up my butt thing. It is a fact. And I think that I can now just do 1 a day and establish my boundaries, and also be able to focus on other projects like my producing, like my this, but have the anchor of photography at least once a day, but not have my life dictated by it. But even I was trying to do 2 shoots a day at one point, and I was incapacitated at the end of the day. Like falling, like crashing into the couch, falling immediately asleep. I was on for my clients, like they were getting the what the package is worth, but I would get incapacitated. So I definitely pared it down, but I was working, and on top of that, I was busier than I had ever been during quarantine, because I had been doing virtual events, virtual producing events, and my podcasts, and writing, and this and that, and it was just like everything was piling onto each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I so stressed in the middle of a pandemic because of work? That's amazing. But also, Michael, learn your boundaries. You know what I mean?
Right. Because you're a yes man. Like, so for you, and I relate to this too, is if you are a multi-hyphenate, you want to say yes to multiple things too. It's not just saying one thing, you want to say yes to everything. So it's hard to learn where you have to say no, because also your body is telling you like, we can't keep up right now.
Because how exciting is it? You're getting work in the middle of a pandemic. People are trusting you and paying you, and you're making your own schedule. So you could do the work that you wanted to do forever by yourself. So it's very attractive to say yes. But then you're like, oh, I have to be up at 6 a.m. tomorrow and edit that because I'm not going to be able to edit that at all for the next 5 days. I don't have a pocket of time. And that's when you're just like, be kinder to yourself, please. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that's when it becomes unhealthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. You have shared such a wealth of information. I feel like everyone's knickers have been untwisted exponentially having watched this. And
everyone can breathe now.
You can breathe now. I think my last question for you will be,
yes.
You, as you said, you've been writing too.
Yeah.
Actually, I lied because I'm an actress and I act sometimes. So this is the second to last question. You have written so many beautiful articles for Backstage. In one of them, you discuss net weaving as opposed to net working. Can you break down real quickly what net weaving is for those of us who are artists and can benefit from this?
So I was having this great conversation with my friend Catherine Porter, who's done, a few of the Broadway things, and she's an incredible artist, incredible survivor, just brilliant human being. And she was like, you're such a networker, you're such a net weaver. And I was like, what did you say? And she was like, you're a net weaver, you connect things. And I was like, that's what it is. That's what we all have to do. We have to, it's not about just showing up, but we have to have an objective as to why we've shown up. We have to be able to confidently complete each other's puzzles, because there are so many people that are scared of networking, but I think it comes out of a fear of empty objective and just showing up because they were told that they have to show up, but they weren't told is that they have to show up with a purpose and go, this is what I have to offer. I'm not social climbing because I'm literally going, I know that you need this and I'm the perfect person for it. Okay. So like, take my card, add me on Instagram right now, take a second to think about it. But like, I'm here to have a good time, but I'm also here, like, might as well help each other, right? I don't think that there's anything social climby about it. I think people are worried that networking can be social climby. And I think it is if you do it with the wrong intention. If you like befriend someone for their clout and act like their friend, that is social climbing. But if you literally go like, Michael, I'm a budding photographer. I don't know if you have an assistant, but I would love to do that somehow. I would be like 100% yes. But as I have had many times, friends, not really, but I've known them from the industry many times, go, I have a question to ask you. Like, can we go out for coffee? And like, I have a few things that I really want to pick your brain about. But what they're really picking my brain about is getting me to give them a severe discount or a free photo shoot. And that's not okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like I love this net weaving. And it sounds like team working more than networking.
Yeah.
It's like saying, I have some skills I'd like to bring to the party and add to the party. And it's like, I'm bringing my own food to your party as well. It's like a way of also saying, here's what I can contribute, as opposed to like, here's what I can take from you.
And there's a big give and take too, right? Like, Because it's okay to be professional, but it's also like cool to party and like play around. So like,
Yeah.
for instance, like, there's, what was I going to say there? I just lost my train of thought, but yeah, like you want to be able to deliver, like not everything has to be so professional. Like, it's okay to like take your coat off, enjoy, talk about your day, talk about things that really make you you, because like that's what's really, really important. But I think that younger artists are held to the standard from like 70-year-old directors, 60-year-old directors, whatever,
Yeah.
that are like, but do I want to grab a beer with her or him or them? Do I want to grab a beer with them? Like, do I like, that's how a lot of directors cast. Oh, that's how a lot of casting directors cast. That's how a lot of creative teams cast. And I don't think that's very fair, because there are
Yeah.
people that are going to solve your problems, but are showing up because they believe in themselves and they know that they can. And when they feel more comfortable, that's when you all can hang out. But don't alienate the people that can solve your issues just because they're not giving off like cool, like, hey, what kind of beer you want to go out for vibes after, like,
Right.
you know.
Like, excuse me, I drink apple juice at the bar every single time. We are never going to get a beer. Hello.
We're never going to get a beer. And
You
also,
are
like, I'm much more of a vodka soda person, and I can't drink during my long hauler stuff. So like, are you going to judge me for that? Only Judy can judge me.
Exactly. Also, if I want to like order a Virgin Malibu Bay Breeze, hello, are you still going to be the director sitting beside me? Like, that shouldn't be it. That
Right.
shouldn't be part of the process. Neither should your
Exactly.
Instagram. I've seen that on a lot of casting, is what's your Instagram handle? And that's just my random pet peeve. I'm just putting out into the universe. If you're a casting director, you don't need to know my Instagram. Like, you're casting me in a musical and it's Annie. Why do you need to know my Instagram? Like, you know what I mean?
Also, literally search my name. Like, if you're really going to do that, search my name, stop being lazy. And that's a whole other talk that I love talking about, is like the generalization, the laziness that's infiltrating our industry. I'm talking a little bit about it on TikTok, and I haven't been approved yet, but I want it to be my next backstage article. I want it to be on this topic, so I should find out if this topic gets approved. But everyone that shoots with me knows that I cannot stand the word quirky. I think it is the literal bane of my existence, because I can't tell you how many actors come into my studio and go, I'm quirky, fun, and whatever adjective and I'm like, so let me get this straight. You, I mean, all these people, you're all saying to me that you're quirky. That's like saying that you're human, that you breathe air, that you drink water, that you go for walks. Like, what does that tell me about you? Yeah, you have quirks, but what are they? Tell me in complete sentences, paint the picture, tell the story, go deeper. If you are actually quirky, you will have those stories. You will know exactly what to say.
I love that. And from my point of view, Michael Kushner, you are just a star, and you are on this earth to make so much change and bring so much good to the world. And all joking aside, which I never do, I love you. Thank you so much for being here with us and for sharing your story and for opening your heart. And for those of you who haven't checked out Michael's work, please do yourself a favor and go check it out. And Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jana. You are amazing. You're an incredible host. This was really great to be able to speak freely and safely, and thank you very much.